Hey boys, it's HarmNone. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 10 most iconic vehicles of all time in GTA Online history. Vehicles that define moments of time and eras within GTA Online, with some vehicles even transcending both. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, dislike if you don't, and consider subscribing if you're new, and let's get started. To kickstart us off here, we got the Karen Kuruma Armored for $525,000 to $698,250. The Armored Kuruma is hands down one of the best early game purchases in all of GTA Online. It's not flashy, it's not weaponized, but it gets the job done. This thing is basically a bulletproof bubble on wheels, and if you're grinding missions or heists, it is a must-have. The Karen Kuruma is fairly fast, it's pretty nimble, and most importantly, it is almost completely bulletproof. You can get shot at by an army of NPCs or players and just sit there laughing while you shred them through the windows with an AP pistol or a tactical SMG. It's especially clutch for missions where enemies swarm you with automatic weapons and shotguns and things like that, because in the Kuruma, you're basically untouchable, at least until you're facing explosives. Sure, it doesn't have missiles or a boost or anything fancy like that, but for under $700,000, what you're getting is pure survivability. It's great for grinding for newer players or higher level players alike. I remember for a long time there was an exploit in the Pacific Standard job where you could use the Armored Kuruma for the getaway vehicle by having a garage nearby the bike spawn point, and it completely changed the money-making meta in online for quite some time. This vehicle could be spotted in lobbies all day long until the Amani Tech vehicle showed up, but even to this day, players still drive around in it. It certainly is one of the most iconic vehicles that have ever been added into GTA Online, and it wouldn't have felt right if I didn't include it on this list. It absolutely deserves a spot. At number 9, we have the Bati 801 for $15,000. The Pegasi Bati 801, for as long as GTA Online has existed, has been known as the best bang for your buck vehicle of all time. The performance you get access to for $15,000 is absolutely top notch, second to none. Although there's little to no customization for the bike itself, you can make some pretty mean looking color combos and whatnot with this vehicle. In the early days of online, it was used for stunting a lot, and some of those videos from back in the day have tens of millions, if not even in the hundreds of millions of views, which is absolutely insane to think about. I think nearly everybody in GTA Online has owned a Bati 801 at some point, and if you haven't, I'm not really sure what you're doing, but it's another one that absolutely deserves to be on this list. At number 8, we have the Truffade Adder for $1 million. The Adder was the original most expensive car in GTA Online, costing a whopping $1 million, which was a ton of money when GTA Online first came out. And it technically wasn't the fastest, but it sure felt fast and it looked pretty awesome too. The Adder was the status symbol of status symbols for quite some time in this game, and it's actually my favorite car in GTA Online to this day. Not because it was the most expensive car way back when, not because of anything like that, but because I've had one since near release, and I've always made sure to have an Adder, and it's one of my favorite cars to drive. And I think it goes without saying, the Adder truly is one of the most iconic cars of all time in this game. At number 7, we have the Cargo Bob. Though it was originally not purchasable, it does go for $1,790,000 now, and it has been overshadowed recently by the DH7 Iron Mule, which is better than the Cargo Bob in every single way. However, the Cargo Bob served the GTA Online community for years, and while it's honestly a terribly slow piece of shit, it did make some things faster business-wise. But most importantly, it was a fuck of a lot of fun to use with friends. Whether you were trolling them by taking their cars away or towing rhinos and shooting from the air, picking up and dropping cars in the water, or on unsuspecting players, this thing sure made for some good times. Plus, you could pack half a lobby into it as well and fly around, which was really, really cool. The Cargo Bob certainly has served us for a long time, and it has served us well and valiantly. It is a shame that it has been retired effectively by the Iron Mule, but at the same time, it had its place for over a decade, which is a pretty good legacy to have. This is an awesome vehicle. At number 6, we have the Oppressor Mark I for $2,070,000 to $2,750,000 if you didn't have the trade price. The Mark I is one of the most unique and game-changing vehicles in GTA Online. Before the Mark II ever showed up, this thing was the original flying motorcycle, and it completely flipped the script when it dropped. At the time, there was nothing else like it, and boy was it ever fucking annoying to play against in PvP, and it still is to this day. I can't tell you the amount of times that I was griefed when doing a sail mission with this vehicle. I guess it was kind of Rockstar's version of foreshadowing. At first glance, it looks like a regular sports bike with a couple mods until you hit the booster, and the Oppressor Mark I is equipped with a rocket boost which gives an insane burst of speed, and it can glide through the air using its fold-out wings. It's not quite a plane and it's definitely not quite a bike, but it's somewhere in between, and I hate to admit it, but it is a lot of fun. You were able to upgrade it with homing missiles if you owned a mobile operations center and had the bunker research unlocked in order to enable those, turning it into a serious threat in missions or PvP. And while the Mark II eventually outclassed it in terms of practicality, the Mark I still holds up today as one of the most fun vehicles to use in the entire game, and when it was first released, I hated it for a long time, but it did some good things. It made getting around the map faster, more fun, and definitely more chaotic. It was the start of the futuristic era of GTA vehicles, and it paved the way for all the wild stuff that came after. You can look at this as a negative as well, but it certainly is iconic. At number 5, we have the Vigilante for $3,750,000. I was debating putting the Scramjet here, but I ultimately decided on the Vigilante because I think it is one of the most iconic vehicles in GTA Online alongside the Scramjet, but I feel like for a long time the Vigilante was actually more popular than the Scramjet, so that is why I settled on the Vigilante. This thing does look like it was ripped straight out of a superhero movie, and that's because it was very clearly inspired by the Batmobile, and the design is pretty insane. It's got a really aggressive armored look with a massive jet engine in the back, and it just demands attention when it rolls by. It's a very, very big vehicle as well. Now, it's not just about the looks though. This thing does move. That rocket booster makes it the fastest non-HSW vehicle in the entire game as far as land vehicles go and non-glitched vehicles. You can use this to chase down enemies, launch yourself out of danger, or over obstacles. And when it comes to firepower, it does have the front-mounted machine guns, which do a lot of damage. And it does have the option to add homing missiles as well, which makes it a pretty serious force in both missions and free roam. The biggest drawback with this vehicle though is of course the lack of armor, but I remember when the Oppressor Mark II got added, this was a somewhat capable defense or counter to that, unless they got their missiles off first. This thing is just cooler than pretty much anything else on the road that you're going to run into in GTA Online. And whether you're blowing up NPCs or cruising through the city like a discount Batman, the Vigilante delivers on all fronts except for armor. I certainly think that this is one of the most legendary and iconic vehicles in GTA Online history, but obviously if you disagree, I would say the Scramjet would also get this place. I just decided on the Vigilante because it is my personal preference. At number 4, we have the P996 Laser, which was not purchasable for a very long time, but now it's available for $6,500,000, which is really overpriced. But anyways, the most iconic plane in GTA Online history has to be the Laser, largely due to its accessibility, with it being able to be stolen from Fort Zancudo pretty easily and by pretty much anyone. I think everybody who's played this game has attempted the iconic highway jump into the military base in hopes of stealing a laser or another aircraft, but primarily the Laser. Now, the Laser's current state in GTA Online is somewhat sad and a shadow of its former glory. This is exclusively due to the cannon nerf it and the Hydra received in 2023, which reduced the fire rate of the previously maybe overpowered cannon, making it far less effective. I'm not saying this wasn't a needed change or that it wasn't warranted, but at the same time, sometimes I do miss just how insane the cannon on this plane and the Hydra was. I definitely think this is an iconic vehicle. I think pretty much everybody has flown one at some point in GTA Online, and it definitely deserved to be on this list. At number 3, we have the newest vehicle on this entire list with the Kasatka submarine. For $2,200,000 to about $9 million if you fully upgrade it, the Kasatka is among the most important and iconic vehicles in all of GTA Online. It was added with the Cayo Perico heist update, which is the best update for money making in GTA Online history. The update completely changed how heists work and how much could be earned with less than an hour of commitment. The Kasatka isn't just a submarine, it's basically a mobile ocean-based headquarters that lets you start the Cayo Perico heist, which still to this day is one of the best solo money-making methods in the entire game. You can launch and plan the entire heist from inside the sub, which honestly is what made it a game changer. Before the Kasatka, doing a high-paying heist completely solo just wasn't possible. On top of that, the Kasatka comes with some other serious features. You can upgrade it with a guided missile system, a sonar station, the moon pool lets you store a mini submarine inside and potentially a Torador or a Stromberg, and you can also add the Sparrow helicopter, which is one of the fastest ways to move around in GTA Online. The reason for the Kasatka being on this list and why it's so iconic is pretty simple. It gives solo players a lot of real power in GTA Online. It opened up an entire heist that you could do completely on your own, at your own pace, and still make great money. Despite the heist being nerfed over the years, it is still a really good way to make money even in 2025. It changed the way people play GTA Online and made it a lot more accessible for grinders who prefer to do things by themselves. Another reason for the Kasaka being so iconic is the fact that this is the largest vehicle in the entire game. Releasing it pushed the limits of what myself and I think a lot of other players thought was possible in a game as old as GTA Online. Especially after the fact that they gave us yachts that we couldn't move, giving us a submarine that's almost as big as the yacht that can move and that you can move is pretty crazy to me. And all of these things make the Kasaka a very iconic vehicle. At number 2, we have the Insurgent or the Insurgent Pickup Custom. The Insurgents have been a staple of GTA Online ever since they released into the game. The regular Insurgent and the weaponized Insurgent released to the players of Online with the Heists update all the way back in March of 2015. I remember buying a regular Insurgent as soon as I could and being blown away by the armor of the vehicle. You could last for hours in a police chase driving the Insurgent, which was pretty much unheard of at the time, because it was by far the most armored vehicle in the game at that point. Fast forward to the gun running update of June 2017, and the Insurgent pickup was able to be made into the custom variant, taking it from being initially a Pegasus vehicle to being able to be upgraded in the MOC or Avenger into the custom variant, which saw different armor variations, weapon upgrades, and the proximity mine dropper, as well as performance upgrades and liveries added as customization options. With even more armor than the regular Insurgent and a top-mounted weapon, and a custom vehicle that was requestable through the mechanic, this vehicle was and still is very dominant in free mode lobbies in GTA Online when PvPing, and I think it definitely is one of the most iconic vehicles in all of GTA Online history. For an honorable mention, we have the Pegasi Zentorno for $725,000. Honestly, this vehicle could have been number 1. I've ultimately put it as the honorable mention because I don't think it's quite at the tier of the number 1 spot, but don't get me wrong, the Zentorno is pretty much as iconic as it gets. This vehicle released with the High Life DLC and was the new fastest supercar in GTA Online at the time when it came out, with some pretty decent customization options. Now I'm sure I'm not alone in witnessing this, but I've never heard more people compare real life cars to an in-game vehicle nearly as much as I have with the Zentorno. I think anybody who's played GTA Online and sees a Lamborghini thinks subtly in the back of their head about the Zentorno. I've heard people say it, I've seen YouTube videos where people say it, and I've definitely seen more than enough Instagram comments about it over the years. For whatever reason, everyone, and I mean everyone, seems to know the Zentorno and what an awesome car it is. And with the added customization, in 2022, it just made this thing even better, and it definitely had to make this list. But at number 1, for better or for worse, the Oppressor Mark II is the most iconic vehicle in GTA Online. I would argue that the Oppressor Mark II is the most iconic vehicle to ever come out of the GTA Online vehicle pipeline. This vehicle has transcended GTA Online itself, and you'll even see memes about vehicles in real life that resemble the Oppressor Mark II from in-game, and some have probably even taken inspiration from the Oppressor Mark II itself. Outside of real life, we've all experienced getting absolutely annihilated by this vehicle in-game, whether you were just cruising around or about to finish a sale mission at a car meet. It has always been a pain in the ass to die by the hands of a Mark II griefer. Despite it all though, the Mark II is probably one of the most useful vehicles in the entire game when it comes to making money and getting around quickly and conveniently. People have often said throughout history that something so prolific can never be perfect, and I think it is a great way to describe the Oppressor Mark II's existence in GTA Online. While it's super useful and super helpful, it is a double-edged sword because it can be the biggest pain in the ass to fight against in online as well. It definitely is the most iconic vehicle in GTA Online history. So there you have it, guys. That's my list of the top 10 most iconic GTA 5 vehicles of all time. Let me know what you thought of my list in the comment section down below. Is there anything that I missed? I feel like I missed some stuff, but I thought about this list for a long time. Like, I've been working on this video for probably a month, and I think that I got it exactly how I want to, but I feel like there's gonna be something that I missed that I'm gonna be like, God damn it, why didn't I put that on the list? So if you know what it is, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't, of course, and consider subscribing if you are new. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.